Hey everyone. All right. If you have been following me, you know that I had a big competition that I was preparing for. And, man, so that's where the heck I've been at for the last couple of days, has just been doing this competition. So, there was 4 things we competed in, and I'm going to do a reflection. Today is my Sunday reflection day. I didn't get my last 2 days lives done of something small that meant something huge. I'll talk about in this one. And then I have to do my FAFO, my fiddle around and find out fighting live that I do each week. Okay, so here is something small that meant a lot to me, and it was a different perspective, okay? So I went to this competition, and I was just like, man, I hope that I score, end up above middle. So there were 14 competitors, and so I just wanted to end up in in the middle, but top middle. Okay. So I was talking to some ladies that I met there. Well, one lady is new to horses, and she was just like, I just want to see my name written on that paper. That was her goal. It was her first ever horse competition, and all she wanted was to just see her name on the page. That was like a whole different perspective for me, because I was like, oh yeah, we are here just to, I'm throwing my hat in the ring, right? I'm throwing myself out there to be like, all right, let me try to do something. But then like the competition bug kind of gets me, and then I'm like, okay, here's where I'd like to most definitely place. I'm 46, I'm chubby, and I competed on a mule in a horse event that was based off of speed. Okay, so like the chances of me bringing home first place, I knew what I was getting into. So part of my reflections for this week is just to back up and get out of your head a little bit. One of the and don't put those those expectations upon yourself of you want to win something. Like, I don't know, it kind of seems goofy, like the whole concept of gotta win, because aren't we winning if we're challenging ourselves and we're showing up and throwing your hat into the ring? Like, isn't that winning at life? Isn't that like people that are trying, just trying to do something? And a lot of times it's just about who shows up and who puts their hat in the ring. So my reflection for this week is to step back and look at why you're doing something, and then try to keep that, maybe you should write that down. If you're going to go and try to compete in something, like, why are you doing it? Because then if you get the sassies going, you can step back onto that and be like, no, why am I doing this? And like have that written down somewhere. I seriously think that would help. So this competition that I went to, I wanted to use this just to get my mule out and to prepare it for a bigger competition that's at the end of this month. And so I needed to just keep that perspective in mind. Also, from this weekend, I realized, I've got hair everywhere, how much all the small details go into something. Because I'm finding myself, so this competition I went to, the person that put it on put a lot of effort into it. They had prizes for just first place, so I had to keep that in mind, right? They care about the contestants. They are genuinely excited about the competitions. There's no issues with how the competition is ran, but then for their overall scores, it gets whack. So there's 4 things that I competed in. Each one should have been worth 25%. Turns out that 2 of them were worth 50%, and then these 2 right here were worth 50%. So you end up with 150% of stuff being worth things. It ends up being wonky. So what this week did for me was it made me realize, like as a competition host, like we host things, how important all the details are, and giving people all the information so they know what they're getting into, and putting that information out there, and then going over information with people. So that right there can be taken into my real life, okay? I need to be super clear, and then don't expect someone to read it and fully understand it, and then go through it for even more clarity. Okay, so man, I can think of, you tell a kid to do something and then they don't do it, but you got to explain why, and then you got to go back and like double check them. So that's what I'm going to take from this competition is, even though the host did everything right except for that one thing, but the one thing really dictated how, like, it's your last thing that you remember, okay? So, and then it kind of puts like a damper on the whole event. But like the event itself was like, oh my gosh, it went from 10 to 10. So it was 12 hours long, and there was so many highlights. But if you have one piece that's really not done well, then it puts like this kind of like a damper on the whole event. So my reflection is details matter, and you need to make sure that every piece of something is way that you want it to be remembered, right? Like if you, I don't know, if you're a boss and you do so much stuff that's just amazing for your employees, but then you like drop the ball on, I don't know, a piece of it, like maternity leave, or not being sensitive about somebody that's got a 20-year-old animal that passes away. You know what I mean? If you got this one piece of something that kind of like it dampens all the other things, then a lot of times people won't remember all the good that you did. So I don't know, it just maybe be receptive to a different point of view, and then making sure that you can grow in weak areas. So then all the work that you do put into something is recognized and appreciated, because you don't have that one piece that kind of like brings it down. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of taking away. Like this, me getting out and competing, like I host competitions and events for a living, right? That's what I do. And I always want to make them just like better and better and better. But it requires me to get out and experience other events being hosted and other competitions being put on. So I can be like, whoo, we like the way we do this, or, oh man, like being in the passenger seat of an event makes me see it from a different perspective, instead of me always being in the driver's seat of things. I think it's going to make me a better driver by being a passenger. So that is what I'm going to take away from this week is, I've got like a competition series next year that we're putting on, and I need to give people more information. People love information, so they know what to expect, and they can depend upon you, and they know what they're getting into, because with information comes clarity, and clarity makes someone like less anxious, it's less stressors, and then they can actually focus on something instead of having that big piece of something that's like unknowing or not done right. So Anyways, good morning to everyone. That's my reflections. I don't know if anybody else can take this and put it into like a different way of hearing it, but like that's my main thing this weekend was, from this week was just all the little pieces matter, and that one piece. You know what? If you worked on a puzzle and there's one final piece missing, your eyes are going to focus on that one piece that's missing, right? It's not going to look at the puzzle that's got 500 pieces in it and they're all put together beautifully. You're going to focus on that one piece that's missing. So I think that's what I'm going to try to make sure that the puzzles that I do in life, right? The events I host, the relationships I have with people, I'm going to try to make sure that there's not a piece of a puzzle missing. So then you can focus on the beauty of the artwork, the beauty of and you can focus on all the positive pieces of the puzzle because there's not one missing. All right, so that's my reflection of the week, and I will see y'all tomorrow.